it is wonderful to see you again. I'm going to get this fixed in just 1 second, but don't worry about it. It is wonderful to see everybody again. How is everybody doing? Please do not forget. Please do not forget what our book club is as we move about this. We're going to have a conversation, but as we do, I don't want you to forget. I know we haven't set a date for the book club, but especially if you're going to be at the conference, please, please, please read the book. It's going to be important for what we have to do. I miss y'all. You miss me? We are back. Hopefully everything stays up and around, but we got to get to a conversation. Before we do that, please hit the like button. Please hit that bell. If you have not hit that bell, please hit that bell so you get notifications when I am back, like this right here. Just get notifications because I might be away. I might have cable issues, internet issues. You never know. So please hit that bell. Subscribe. If you want to donate, go to donatebrown.com. You can also go to patreon.com /Carnell. You can do that as well. So we in here. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? And then Goddess, Smooth, Jazz, Gail, Miss Kelly. What's up, everybody? We are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. And we have to have a conversation. Now, I know what y'all saying. Yvette was here. Yvette hadn't even been here, and she's still late. Well, I had to change the whole show 15 minutes ago. So you're looking at somebody who has a scribble down a group of notes, but I don't even really know what I'm going to say. I didn't plan the show like I normally do because somebody just told me as we get into it, somebody just, somebody, and I appreciate y'all. I really do appreciate y'all because you sent me this. You sent me this, and then I thought that I should tune in. I have to. What is going to be said? I need to hear what is going to be said. What are they going to talk about? What's going to happen? And I really, I don't think I have, the only time Jay Morrison came back up for me was when he started talking about, he talked to Baba Joe or Baba Jew from in Cobra about reparations, and he had to wait because he talked to an elder. But after Tone did his video, and you have to do that video because you have to look out for your people and say what's going on here, and we're going to get to that. You have to do your due diligence. You can't just say, well, he black and he must mean good and we're going to go along with it. You have to research the history of a person, who they are, what they represent, do they have ongoing lawsuits, whatever. You have to do that. That's just what you have to do. That's necessary. We don't do enough of that in our community. We don't do enough background and research. So this is what we had, and I watched a lot of it as much as I could stomach. I watched it. And I saw a lot of stuff. But before I get to everything I saw, I want to do a little background. I don't want to get ahead of myself. And sometimes when I get excited, I get a little ahead of myself, and I don't want to do that. So this was a conversation that was had. This was a thing that happened this evening. It may be still going on because y'all know boys be long-winded as a mug. So it may be still going on. But let me just say this. I wasn't here, so I didn't have a chance because this all started from the Revolt conference, and it kind of started there with something Jay Morrison said about unity and having a Black Vote Day and rally around, whatever he said there, and then he did a video. Instagram video looked like from what I saw. It was an Instagram video I think that he did. And so he did that, and there he talked about something that somebody from in Cobra told him about how reparations had to work because it had to come from the Supreme Court, and whatever he said, whatever Baba Joe or Baba Jiju, I don't know how much I care. This is what this all kind of bubbled up from. And I want to say, because I couldn't say it, I want to say shout out. Thank you, Killer Mike, for shouting us out at Revolt. I appreciate it. And I appreciate what you're doing in the sense of you're over here, right, with a candidate, but you're also kind of pushing people over here. There are a couple things going on because we're not big enough. You have a bigger microphone. And so you're saying, hey, go here and get this education. Appreciate that. And I want to go to something that Killer Mike asked me when we saw him in Alabama. He said, I'm around celebrities, black celebrities, and black celebrities tell me, you know, basically, I don't necessarily want to mess with them because they say X, Y, and Z. They don't like black celebrities. How do we do that? And the first thing I said is, well, you have to have a rule of basically do no harm first. And you have to have political education second. And when I talk about a political education, what I'm talking about is you have to do the work. See, I hear Jay Morrison say a lot of stuff. He always says, well, I outwork the work. Hey, Negro, I need you to outwork the book. Outwork the political book. Outwork the political article. Do all of that before you come into this space and start talking to me about what Baba Joe told you. Because I watched you, and this is too much. I watched you talk to Boyce Watkins, who basically, and while you were there, what you basically said was this. You said, I don't really know who's right. I just kind of want unity. But see, that's the first problem. You can't have unity around a set of principles that don't really make any sense. You have to have unity around a specific thing. And our unity is around a specific justice claim based on a specific loss, a specific accrued disadvantage that began from slavery. That's it. He says, I want us to rally around an agenda. We already have an agenda. Where have you been? See, I don't need you to start to rework the wagon or rework anything. I need you to get on code. Now, you already got your own set of problems. I'm going to get into that because you got into me. People say, oh, Yvette, why don't you just get on board? Why don't you just get on board if you can't help the brother? Listen, you don't help me. Nobody ever says who doesn't help me. You get in my way. And part of the reason I went at you the first time because I knew you were going to get in my way. I knew you never seen a camera that you didn't like. This is the problem, see, with too much of black celebrity. We don't have enough killer mics, and we got a lot of people who, instead of want to invest and do the stuff that they need to be doing with the money of yours that they have, how do you have 11 or 12 million dollars of black people's money and you run around talking about you want to do grassroots organizing? Do your thing. If I'm wrong, and I don't think I am, we're going to get to that, but if I'm wrong and you on the up and up about everything, then why don't you play your role? You got $11 million to invest. That should take up your time. Why are you over here talking to me about what you don't know? Why are you everywhere doing everything other than what you're supposed to be doing, other than what they gave you the $11 million to do? I don't understand what is happening. And what I see, honestly, and this is why I said clickbait. What I see, honestly, is a lot of people who are joining the reparations conversation just for clickbait. And I saw Boyce even talk about, well, you know, let's just put this up while we talk about Boyce, because he said a lot of little slick stuff, and the slick stuff wasn't just directed at me. We have Boyce who said this, you know, like 5 reasons why black people won't get reparations anytime soon. So you don't really believe that this is an agenda item. You don't really believe that we can do this. So why are you in this conversation? Jay Morrison says something similar. Why asking for reparations from the USA is foolish. 2 people who are opposed to reparations are talking about reparations. And the only thing that I can take away from that is this is clickbait. You just want to be a part of the conversation. And I'm going to talk about a little bit that was said because it's a lot of little slick stuff that happens. So Boyce gets in the way. I'm just trying to get everybody together. I done messaged Tariq. I messaged Tariq Nasheed, I just want to bring him on. No, you don't want to bring Tariq on. Tariq brings clicks and you need clicks, don't you? You don't want to bring him on to sell anything. You need clicks. You need somebody to view so they know if you put Tariq Nasheed in the subject line, that's clicks for you. That's what you want, boys. You don't want to sell anything and you want to be in the center of it. That's what this was about for you. And then you said something else real slick. You think you so slick. Well, see, the problem I kind of had with Tariq is that he was kind of telling you not to be involved in the reparations conversation. And I don't think anybody should kind of tell anybody not to be involved in the reparations conversation. That's not what happened. Tariq basically said, Tariq had Jay Morrison on his show. He tried to support him. He said, you're not on code. Because this dude, Jay Morrison, didn't reach out to nobody and say, hey, what do you think? No, you just out here. And I don't even know what Boyce is doing. Like, you always mention me and how the ADOS movement is being led wrong, but I'm only half of this. You don't ever come at Antonio. You know why you don't come at Antonio? Because you don't come at men. You never come at a man. That's who you are. That's what you are. And I'm tired of this whole beef thing and going back and forth. But I get into the video and about 15 minutes or 20 minutes into it, you let out a tirade about Yvette again. You got to talk about Yvette. That's your life's work, to talk about Yvette D. Carnell. You just got to talk about me all the time. You are the most petulant, petty man I have seen. You cannot just stay on your square and do your work. Do the work of the people. Whatever. If you feel that that your work is due for self-realism, listen, that's fine. I don't agree. We can disagree. You can do you. You have been talking about me since 2017. I talked about you back then. For the most part, I let it go. I have been disciplined and I've stayed on my square. Here you go. 20 minutes into it. And I tell you what the problem is, Yvette, and I know Yvette well. You don't know me well. We talked about regular stuff. What's up? Where the money at? You owe me $500. We talked about that kind of stuff. Hey, what's going on? What you eat? I had some pizza. Cool. What's going on, Negro? What's up? We talked about, you don't even know what it is to be close to somebody. We were never close. Stop saying that. There's a lot of stuff you should stop saying, boys. And I'm going to say this too. Stop hiding behind another grown man. That's something else that grown men shouldn't do. What do I mean by that? What does Yvette mean by that? Well, here's what happened. You keep bringing up Farrakhan, and you keep bringing up something that is very problematic. You keep bringing up, well, Yvette said this stuff about Farrakhan. Ain't that awful? She said all this stuff. And you see what happened? I told her not to say that stuff. I had to go to Farrakhan's house and apologize for Yvette. That's what you said. And let me just say this, boys. I have let you run with the lie. I have let you run with the lie that you tried to stop me from you didn't know I was going to do that video, and then you was outraged and you had to make up to the Nation of Islam because that wasn't right what I did, and you have tried. First of all, and you said I called Farrakhan trash, and I said he was a dog, and I never said any of that. I said that what he said at that time was irresponsible. And Farrakhan said I had a right to. Farrakhan said she has a right to criticize me. Basically, leave her alone. Let her say what she needs to say. Farrakhan didn't have a problem with me, but you hiding behind this grown man for years now. And so what I feel I need to do, and I don't ever do this because I don't like sharing internal messages. It's not good. I don't think it has good karma. But I'm gonna do it today because you had no problem with my video when you inboxed me. That's Boyce. Your video got almost 10,000 views in the last 24 hours. LOL. When the video was making you money, you had no problem with the video. When I was making you money, you had no problem with me. When I was making you money, more money than I made myself. When I had nothing and you were getting all the money off those videos that I made you, Boyce. When I did that, you had no problem with me. Now you've been running around, and I have let you run with this lie because I thought you were going to leave this lie alone eventually. And I embarrassed you with the Charles Wu thing, and I don't want to drive nobody crazy or drive nobody to jump off no bridge or nothing, so I left it alone. But now that we're here, and now that you won't leave me alone, I'm sick of it, and I'm sick of you. I'm sick of every time you want to talk about something, you got to bring my name into it. I am sick of you. That's not it's not the only thing. Here's let me bring this up. Second message from Boyce Watkins. Your Farrakhan video, damn. I saw the title and I was like, oh shit, you had me cracking up. I wasn't going to say anything, Boyce, but you will not leave me alone. I am over here in this lane trying to do reparations work. I am over here trying to do what I feel. Let me just be honest with everybody here. I feel like what I'm doing is God's work. I feel like what I am doing is ADOS work. I feel like what I'm doing is the ancestors' work. And you keep getting in my way. And I'm sick of it. And I'm sick of you. And I'm getting you out of here. Today, you have been lying not only to me, You have been lying to everybody. If you give somebody enough rope, eventually they hang themselves. And Boyce, it is over. I don't see how after this you get to stay here. I don't get to see how after this you get to stay in this space. And there's nothing you can bring up about me in a message or anything else that can be worse than you running with the same lie for 2 years. You've been running with this lie since 2017, and I let it go. You know what happened? We said, I had to go to Farrakhan's house and apologize for Yvette. You know what happened when he went to Farrakhan's house? I know everything that happened to Farrakhan's house. You know how I know? I know for a very specific reason. I know exactly what happened at Farrakhan's house. How would I know what happened to Farrakhan's house with Boyce? Because he called me. He called me. He called me before to let me know he was going. He called me afterward. He was very happy that, like, he had been able to use my situation, to see Farrakhan again. He was very happy that he could use this situation to get some clicks. He was very happy about the conversation that was happening. This was a very good thing for Boyce. It only became a bad thing when Yvette left. See, when Yvette leaves Your Black World, and when Yvette leaves Boyce Watkins Enterprises and does her own thing, then you can't make money off Yvette anymore. And that's the problem. A while ago, somebody sent me a Michi X video where she said, like, something similar in the sense of if he can't make money off of you, like if you hate that video so much that I did of Farrakhan, why do you still have it up on your network? I mean, if you really think it's disrespectful and I shouldn't have said what I said, why is it still there? It's there because you never thought it was disrespectful. It's there because you never had a problem with it. It's there because, I said that what Farrakhan said was wrong. I didn't say that there was something wrong in general with the Nation of Islam. I never said anything like that. But you said the Nation of Islam was a cult. I never said anything like that. I said I disagree with you. So shout out to Michi X, for kind of like co-signing what I already said, what everybody's already said. I don't understand why anybody still deals, but I had to put it out. I didn't want to do it, but that's what you do. You won't leave people alone. I've left you alone. I've gone my own way. I know what you do. I know how you move. So I've decided to move on, but you just won't let people move. You just won't let people move. So you have to do, when you won't let people move on, then things happen. I don't know what to tell you. So let me get to some of the stuff that was in the video that we have to get to. Let me get to some of the stuff that was in the video. And we have to get to this. We have to get to something that's very, very, very important. When we talk about black celebrity, one of the things that we have to get to and we have to understand is that what happens is everybody aspires to be that. And so I believe, like when I look at Jay Morrison's Instagram, it's not an investor's Instagram. He called himself, what did he call himself? Richie Rich, Swaggy, or whatever. It's like everybody wants to be Puff Daddy. So I'm going to be an entrepreneur, but I'm swaggy and I'm rich. I ain't got to sit down and really do the work. And I'm going to dabble over here into grassroots politics. And I'm going to be here, there, to and fro. That's how I'm going to move. That's how I'm going to move. I don't know why you're not moving to deal with the things that you have to deal with. See, here's the problem. Let me just say this. Let me see if I can find this to bring this up. There are a lot of things that he needs to be concerned with that are not grassroots activism. You're an investor. So when the SEC comes to you and tells you that part of what you're saying or doing is inappropriate, you say that and read this quote. It says you say in your, basically what they say when you start in the first paragraph, you say that you're the subscriber to represent that it has the subscriber to the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Apparently this was in the contract. I didn't donate, so I don't know. That it has evaluated or employed the services. Let me get that because it's cut off a little bit at the end. Of an investment advisor, attorney or accountant, and read and evaluate all of the documents furnished or made available by the issuer to the subscriber, including offering a circular, blah, blah, blah. And they saying this is inappropriate because basically what you're saying is that you take the most of the risk. They're saying that, listen, this is inappropriate. That's what the SEC is telling you. The SEC is telling you that. Now, what that means to me, I don't know what this means to anybody else, but what that means to me is that you need to get to your office and get to work. This is the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. This is not the Jay Morrison Advocacy Center. This is some serious business. You have millions of dollars in your care. So what I want you to do when you say, "Well, I just want unity," no, you don't. That's not your job. Your job is to do this part. You told people you was gonna do this part, so do this part. It says also the SEC said, please revise your subscription agreement to remove this representation. You also said there was a mandatory dispute resolution provision. So he got it where you got to have a mandatory dispute resolution provision. Listen, you got to go fix that. You got to go do your work. You got to go do your work. You have to go and figure this out. Be in your office figuring this out. I don't need you. I don't even know why you was at Revolt TV, except for the fact that you're trying to be a black celebrity. You can't sit still. You always got to be somewhere. No, sit down. And the thing is, let me just say this too. Let me take this off the screen. Let me just say one additional thing. Everybody always says, well, Yvette, I don't understand why you go so hard at some people. And it's because in this instance, I'm talking about right here, right now, not early on doing the scrutiny that you should do when somebody comes in and takes a bunch of black dollars out of the community. What I'm saying is this: you have to, because I already know where this is going to go. I already know that you're going to get in my way. I already know that you're not going to just do your fund and leave it be. I already know that you like to see and be seen. So if the reparations conversation is happening, Boyce is going to want the clickbait, and you're going to want to be part of it because you have to be a part of anything. Like if there's an investment real estate convention going on, I'm not going to be there. That's not my wheelhouse. I'm not going to be there. Jay Morrison should be there. A master of everything is a master of nothing. You should focus. You should focus on something that doesn't involve politics or reparations, at least until you do the work. Because I was watching the video and I heard you say a few times that you don't know who's right and who's wrong. You got to figure that out first before you start talking. You got to figure that out first before you come in and say and go on Instagram Live and tell us something that Baba Jojo or Baba Boo Boo, or I don't know, what some elder told you. You got to figure that out. That means there are books you got to read. There are videos you got to watch. But I would think that you wouldn't even really have time to do a lot of that. You could do it piece by piece. We all have to do our part in political education. But I would think that you would really be focused on this investment fund that you have. I would think a lot of things. Like on this video, there were a lot of strange things on this video. See, part of the problem is in our community, we just let anybody talk. Anybody can just say anything. We don't care. Well, Yvette, everybody have a right to an opinion. This person was on the video too. Everybody have a right to an opinion. And I don't know, Yvette, you just be so mean because you act like everybody don't have a right to their opinion. Hear me closely when I say this. Please hear me. Nobody has a right to an uninformed opinion. Nobody has a right to an uninformed opinion. Now, because politics, you got to know stuff. Engineering, you got to know stuff. I'm not talking about whether or not you like the golden Oreos or the black Oreos. We're not talking about what kind of Oreos you like. We're talking about politics. We're talking about stuff that requires real work and real research. You are not entitled to an uninformed opinion. You're not. You can't go out here and ask questions and put stuff on social media knowing that people follow you and then say, I don't know who's right. Help. I just want unity. I just want unity among all people. I don't know who doing what, where, when. What happened? Where it happened? Where did it happen? No, that's not good enough. If you're going to be in this space of advocacy, which I don't think you should be. You always talk about, I have trusted real estate fund. It's the real estate fund, blah, 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 blah. You always talk about that. Well, if that's the case, shouldn't that be where the majority of your energy is directed? And we just let anybody talk about anything. This Faye Bishop who was on the thing, she's a momtrepreneur or whatever she done. Child, listen, mom, entrepreneur, writer, leadcastingcall.com founder, philosopher of self-determination. Child, if you don't stop, how do you get to have a reparations opinion? Because we're talking about economics here. This is not just about, we know the debt is owed. This is about economics. How much is owed? How is it distributed? And then you came out. What did you say? You said something real crazy. You said something almost just as crazy as Jay Morrison and Baba Joe. See, you said, well, we're being divisive because we're separating the global community by putting different designations. That's what you said. You said I'm separate. We're separating people, and I think that's the problem. Now, Baba Joe told Jay Morrison and then T.I. said it too. We need bylaws and a constitution. We need bylaws and a constitution and a flag and 14 potato wedges and 2 turkeys before we get to reparations. It's just like me coming to you and saying, hey, we're about to do the reparations. We're going to take on the American government. Let's do it. And you say, wait a minute. Where's my flag? What? Flag? Flag are the things that countries have. We built the country. We're not finna build another one. We built the richest country in the world. Lotto, we're not finna build another one. What we need a flag for? What do we need bylaws for? What do we need any of the stuff you're talking about for? The only thing we need is what we have right now. What we need and what we have right now is a designation with a quantifiable loss. We have a designation for American descendants of slavery, which talks about slavery and the accrued oppression, the multi-generational oppression, the multi-generational enslavement. That's what we have right now. We don't need anything more than that. We don't need to be Japanese or anybody else to do this. It's very quantifiable. And the work that I've done here and the work that Tone Talks has done, we have brought in not only Dr. Darity, we've talked about all the economics people and we've talked about everything about our contribution, right? Not only our contribution in terms of building the country and what slaves were worth, we've also brought in the numbers of what we've lost. Convict leasing, Jim Crow, all of that. That's what we've done. It's not okay for anybody who hasn't done any work to come in here and say, well, I have an opinion. You don't get to have an opinion as a momtrepreneur. This is not your lane unless you want to make it your lane by doing the work. Otherwise, please step out. And how do you get somebody out of your lane without bouldering over them? Like, why are you even there to talk? None of this makes any sense to me. None of it. None of it. I don't even know what's happening anymore. I keep having to have the same fight. And you know, it's funny to me too that like this whole thing was set off by, you know, it was set off by Antonio, and like Boyce blocked Antonio, and you want to address him at all? Like, what does that tell you about a person? I dare you. I double dog dare you. Get your clock cleaned. You think I'm cleaning your clock? When did the both of us clean your clock? But why won't you do it? That's something. Isn't that something? That's very odd. We've talked to, I mean, you think about all the economists and people we've talked to. We talked to Rothstein. We talked to Darity. Shapiro, Brunig, Collins, the billionaire. Remember the Oscar Mayer. We've talked to everybody to build this up into something. And then you just come from your momtrepreneur blog, and Boyce come from out of wherever he be hiding at to say some stuff. Like, I don't think anybody understands how, and I tie this, it's almost as if we don't value expertise. All of these economists and people, these are expertise. And that's what we use on this show. We use expertise. We don't just get here and just talk and just show up and like, well, we're going to have a conversation. Bada boop, boop, bing. No, we do the work here. That's what we do here. We do the work. And so you have this momtrepreneur who just kind of showed up because Boyce is always just bringing people in from everywhere. Because if you just bring them in, he'll just tell you, you know, whatever. You're going to get exposure. And that way he ain't got to pay you nothing. That's how he does it. That's his business model. It's like not pay. So that's what he does. But you don't have any expertise to speak on the subject. But Boyce don't care. He just wants you in the subject. And I kind of bring that back to like what's going on with like Jay Morrison. Because like his now wife, Ernest, I guess her name is that Ernestine? Well, whatever. Like Ernestine has agreed. This was before, this was a while ago. But she's still the same. She's still acting in that capacity. Ernestine Johnson has agreed to act as our chief communications officer as part of the management team of the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Currently, Ms. Johnson has agreed to work without compensation until such time the manager, Tulsa Founders LLC, receives its designated fees in accordance with the offering circular of the company. But here's the thing. You should be a communications professional. You have millions of black people's money. This is not the job for this person. Ernestine Johnson is a successful entrepreneur, working actress, and most viral poet of her generation. She started investing in real estate in one of the most underserved areas of Atlanta, Georgia, with the mindset of stopping gentrification in a once thriving, historically black, self-sustaining community in Bankhead. As a native of Los Angeles, California, where the area where she grew, child, I don't even know if I want to finish it. Is rapidly changing. She understands the importance of combating gentrification. Johnson, who runs the personal concierge firm with a roster of A-list celebrity clientele, over 36 professional athletes. She has made a name for herself after stellar performances on the Arsenio Hall Show, David Banner's The God Box, and Sci-Hi Prince's No Dope on Sundays. No Dope on Sundays. Now they split like $500K among 7 people and gave themselves back pay. They gave themselves back pay. And I understand that this, what you're reading, is like some kind of junior high school resume. This person is the communications director of a fund that has your money if you donated. That's why we were asking the questions that we asked. Because it appeared to me and Antonio as well, nobody else was going to say anything. Everybody's going to get excited and make a donation. I'm going to be excited and have an investment. I think it was a donation. But I'm going to be excited and have an investment. I'm just going to make an investment. Nobody's going to talk about anything. See, let me just go back for 1 second. Let me just go back to one thing I had a second ago, because I really have to use this to drive it home. It's important. You have to make these things clear, because everybody's talking as if it's one way. You remember The Wire when the dude said, you think it's one way, what was his name? And it's another. Well, everybody's thinking it's one way and it's another. See, part of what I see here, let me just put this up so I put these up together. Part of what I see here, I see, and listen, I think I'm right. Part of what I see here is like this, I see like a con, right? So if you put these side by side, I see 2 people who don't believe in reparations having a lot of conversations about reparations. The middle black family is worth $1,700. And they have both said in no uncertain terms they either don't believe or don't think we're ever gonna get reparations. Well, if you don't say we're gonna get it, if you say we're not gonna get it, then that means you don't believe in it, because you're throwing cold water on what we're trying to do and trying to be slick while you do it. You're throwing cold water on everything that we're doing, and you're trying to be slick. Well, I ain't saying believe it. I say not gonna give it. No, it's not your job to do this. It's your job to get in line with us and say let's go. If you running, I'm running. If you throw a chair, I'm throwing a chair. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to do this little backbiting stuff. That's the problem. So you have Jay Morrison in one corner, 500K split amongst all his people, right? And back pay. Middle black family worth $1,700. They just gave you some money to invest, and everybody's paying. And it's not like you paying people with a specific expertise. Like you brought in like these real guys who do this stuff all the time. You didn't do none of that. Fine. That's what you did. And then you have Boyce who wants to talk about reparations all the time and sell reparations now t-shirts. Right? And then, but he said before that wasn't the case. He said before that we're not going to get it. So here's the situation. Middle black family worth $1,700 without depreciating assets and $8 liquid in Boston and $200 in LA. And they wanted $500 cash as a donation or a quote unquote investment. Put that in context in terms of dollars. Put that in context in terms of money. Okay? Put all of that in context when we talk about this. This is the conversation. So I see that's the first similarity that I see between these two men. Now here's the second one. Here's the second thing that I see in terms of them taking money. So they want you to don't do your family. Don't do reparations. Don't try to go over there and do that. If the middle black family's worth $1,700, can you give me $500? Give me like a third of your family, or give me like 2/3 of your family. I'm gonna take 2/3, and then Boyce over here is gonna charge you like $600 for the all black national convention where he's just gonna talk. He gonna talk to you all day. You can go see his video, see him talk to you all day. I want to express to you that our conference is $15. Both days, $15. Because that's the price point. We're a poor group. Right? We're not going to take away nothing. So that's the price point. Morrison's charging $500. Boyce is a few hundred for you to get his gems of wisdom. Middle black family's only worth $1,700. So already I'm seeing somebody, if you want to take a whole black family away in terms of what you're charging, this is $500 is not our price point. $600 or $800 or whatever you're charging for this all black national convention where you are really the only speaker. It's not the price point. If you were going to be the only speaker, you should have just charged $15 what we charge. We got more guests than you. We'll be releasing that on Monday. The agenda. I know y'all have been asking for it. And we didn't do that. That should be kind of a clue that I think that's why I questioned you, because I feel like there's something going on. I feel like y'all got more in common than a little bit. So why do you feel that way, man? I don't understand. Well, y'all both got lawsuits. Let's just go there. Boyce got lawsuits. You got lawsuits. Y'all got a bunch of lawsuits about thieving and taking stuff away from people. Boyce got a whole thing up where for like $1,000 or something, you can talk to him directly. God, dog. You can talk to me directly. You can talk to me directly. You run to me at the grocery store, gas station. I ain't gonna charge you a dime. Like you can talk to me directly if you. Okay, but y'all both got these lawsuits, and that's very curious. Boyce, they got you for extortion and all kind of stuff. This is all very curious. And Jay Morrison, your lawsuit is even more curious for me. It's even more curious for me for a very specific reason. Let me tell you why. Antonio went through this, but let me just say way back when, but let me just give a refresher for people who don't remember. Because I understand how that happens. A man alleged that he had family property. We're talking about generational wealth. Now understand the Tulsa Real Estate Fund was able to move so fast because it cloaked itself in the massacre in Tulsa. Right? It cloaked itself in the massacre where black people were murdered who had their own stuff. You, Jay Morrison, cloaked yourself in that to sell your fund. Now, the man who I'm about to speak about reached out to Antonio Moore. And he reached out to Antonio Moore and he said, listen, I got a story to tell. He said, I had land and I brought Jay Morrison in as like a quarter owner, and Jay Morrison sold the land out from up under me. Then that's the theft of generational wealth. Understand, this was this man's land from his family. That was generational wealth. That was generational land. He said Morrison stole it out from up under me, and he said this is what he said to Antonio. He said then he sold it out from up under me, and what happened next? We settled. He said Morrison was a 0.25% partner. And he said we settled for, I remember what the amount was, like $200K. He took him to court. I took him to court. He sold an album. I took him to court. We settled in court. He said Jay Morrison tried to then get rid of that 200 or whatever it was that he tried to get rid of that, like in a bankruptcy filing. Now, I want you to stay right there for a minute. I want you to kind of hold it. I want you to hold on to that information for 1 second, please. I want you to first of all understand that a settlement means you are admitting to something. When you settle, you admit to something. You are admitting to that. You are admitting that you committed the act. So you settle with this man in terms of that property. Then you tried to get out of the settlement, according to him. But the bankruptcy is on file. All this stuff is on file. Settlement, all this stuff. You can go look it up. It's all out there. Then you tried to slick out of the settlement by using bankruptcy. So, and the bankruptcy court said, nah, you can't get rid of that. You can't get rid of no settlement like that. Can't do that. Now understand, this is like 09 and 16. This is not 50 years ago, 20 years ago. You were not 19. I think you're probably in your mid to late 30s right now. This is recent stuff that was happening. This is basically now. So when Boyce Watkins says, CJ Morrison, I don't know why they doing you like this. They went and bought Popeye's chicken. They let Popeyes take $100 million out of they let Popeyes take $100 million out of their communities. And they ain't treat Popeyes like this. They ought to be ashamed of treating you like this, rolling you over the coals. But this black man chased you for 8 years, Jay Morrison, to try to get his money back from the land that he says you took out from under him and you settled. But we got Boyce Watkins comparing this to Popeyes. See, what we're trying to figure out, the due diligence that Antonio did and hashing this out, was trying to, hey, let you know, buyer beware. Because, and it's not just us, it's everybody want to act like the NFL didn't put out a warning about you. The NFL Players Association didn't put out an alert about you. We have a right to do our due diligence. Antonio invited you on the show to have a conversation and share your side of the story. You didn't come. You didn't show up. So I don't know what this has to do, Boyce, with Popeye's chicken. Boyce was like, well, they let the Popeye's chicken steal from their community. They let the Popeye's chicken, but they say stuff about you. Listen, Popeye's chicken didn't scam anybody. Now, I'm not saying what Jay Morrison did. I know what he did right here. But I'm saying we have everybody who is an investor does research on that person. And everything is supposed to be scrutinized. You're not supposed to just go along with somebody because they say that it's Tulsa real estate and that's a brother trying to do good. You're supposed to do that research. Popeyes offered a chicken sandwich and they delivered on the chicken sandwich. It's not the same thing. Understand, Boyce is comparing chicken sandwiches to investments. Boyce was an early adopter of the internet, and that's why we worked together. And I thought then he had the best of intentions. But at this point, if you're comparing chicken sandwiches to an investment. You have to think at a certain point, you might not be too bright. But because when you went into Popeyes, remember I had the Popeyes show where I had the chicken sandwich, where I talked about the chicken sandwich and it made my heart like a motorbike. Y'all remember that? I gave Popeyes money. And right at the point of sale, they gave me my chicken sandwich. That's not a cheat. I got what I paid for. That's not a cheat. That's not a swindle. That's very different than putting your money with somebody and you have a lot of questionable stuff in that person's background and you have to wait for the money. You don't know what's going to happen in that interim. You gotta wonder why or whether you want to follow somebody that compares a chicken sandwich to an investment. You gotta wonder where you follow somebody who says they are a finance professor. You ain't been in no school in a long time. I don't know any school that will have you. But you gotta wonder about somebody who doesn't understand the difference between those two things. Popeyes didn't cheat anybody. And what are you saying? That like everybody gets to exploit black people. So Popeyes exploited black people by selling chicken sandwich and left you with diabetes. So why you won't let this man exploit you? You just let white people exploit you, but you won't let black people exploit you. That don't make no sense. Is that what you're saying? That the exploitation, like if you that was exploit, you saying that's exploitation, but it would be better if a black person did it? Is that what you're saying? And I also want to be clear, like Antonio was very critical of Popeyes. I don't even know, like I don't even know how you make the arguments that you're making. Nothing that's happening right now. I feel like I'm in some kind of weird dream because nothing that's happening right now makes sense. I had a whole different show planned for Monday and Wednesday that I couldn't do. So I was going to do that show today. And then I see this where this guy just goes into this whole tirade and I have to come here and have a different show. Like, why don't you listen? Boys, live your life. Whatever your best life is, just go live it. I knew you were going to take the opportunity to let me trash Yvette one more time because I'm so mad that I can't use her on my platform. Go live your life. Go find go make another Yvette. I don't know. Go figure it out. Figure out your life. Everybody needs to figure out what their life and what lane they need to be in. And stop clickbaiting this conversation because you're just getting in the way. And when people get in the way, I have to come in and get them out the way because you're in the way. Why? Because you want views. And something's going on with your views, boys. They don't match. You got a whole bunch of subscribers and you get less comments and less people show up than me and Antonio. And we're at about 60. Like, it doesn't make sense that you have as many as you have. Did you buy your people? What are you doing? Because none of this stuff makes sense. You're supposed to be a finance professor. None of your numbers make sense. That's a whole other thing. But fam, I'm at the 51 minute mark. I'm going to do as we do and go to break and set up the phones. When I come back, we will have the conversation. I really want to know, like, what do you feel about this whole thing? Or what do you think about this? Did any of you see the videos? I know some of you sent me links. And shout out to y'all. I appreciate it because I didn't even know there was going to be a conversation. So I appreciate it. I know some of y'all sent me links and some of y'all sent me screenshots. I really appreciate it. But what did you think of this conversation? I don't know how we get people to like not just chase whatever we're doing at any given moment, even if they're not going to be helpful. Like what do we do about this? And see this? I had a whole education show. You see, and I didn't even get a chance I had to switch everything up at the last minute because at 8:15 they decided they want to do a whole thing. Anyway, fam, give me a few minutes to set up the phones and we will be back to have the conversation. All right, fam. We are back. I apologize for not putting the number up quicker. Um, so, family, we are back though. We gonna get it in, so it ain't no problem. It's not any. It ain't no problem. Ain't no problem. It ain't no problem. Anyway, we are going first. We're going first to 310. What's going on?
What up, the Tunk Talks? Yeah, man, I'm gonna keep it brief. If you can pull that image up, because I was searching Jermaine Morrison.
I didn't get it.
Jay Morrison, but his name is Jermaine Morrison, and
I didn't get the image.
It's in your email. I'll send it again.
Okay.
But essentially, he calls himself Jermaine Morrison, but his name is I'm Jay Morrison, but his name is actually Jermaine Morrison. And in and of itself, I ain't got no problem with him being a felon, or I don't know if he graduated from high school or not. Think he did. No, he didn't go to college. But I think there's a lot of chips on the young man's shoulder. And I say that with respect about young men. I ain't trying to disrespect him on that level. And as a result, he's painted himself as an HBCU student. He's painted himself as like a college grad. He's literally went out and watched college grads and said, I want to. It's kind of like that 6 Degrees of Separation, that movie that Will Smith did to me. And it's like, I don't really have that issue because I went to UCLA. I'm an attorney. Emmy nominated on a documentary. I don't have no issues being exactly where I came from. And I'm saying that I feel like in a lot of ways, Boyce is exactly similar to him in the sense of, look, bro, I done talked to at least 7 to 10 economists that don't nobody respect this dude. I ain't gonna say no names, but don't nobody respect what this man talking about. I wish everybody would just tell y'all that man don't make no sense. He just be saying stuff that don't make no sense. Look, the Popeye's chicken contrast to the Jay Morrison Tulsa real estate fund was the stupidest shit I ever heard. Excuse my language. And it just needs to be said that way because this man is an idiot. And on top of it, look, tell the man stop blocking me and then talking about me. Just don't talk about me if you won't block me. Because the thing that I noticed is that he'll say it's a debate, and then he won't have nobody on there that can debate. It'll just be a discussion to fix somebody's image. I don't even know what the little girl was talking about. The little girl, respect black women. I work with Yvette, black woman. I don't know what this girl even knew. She was just rambling and talking about stuff. Look, you can't say that we divisive while people call themselves Jamaican American or Haitian American. Built into that nationality is a division. How ignorant do you gotta be to not understand that? And I just think that what's interesting is that we're talking like these people come here and we just all become one blackness, and then we saying, oh, we want you outside of our blackness, which we still have a right to do. No, they come here as different groups of people. And so now what you see is that Boyce Watkins is trying to censor himself, and he don't know nothing. He don't know nothing. Not just he's just like a fraud, and the man don't know nothing. He just be making stuff up. He said $100 million from Popeye. Can you please tell us the source of how you know that Popeye made $100 million in the black community? Please tell us the source. Maybe you know franchisees and they gave you the data, because I know that the chicken they just ran out of the chicken a week ago. Maybe Boyce be in the back room with the chicken and he can analyze all of the invoices and tell us $100 million. He just say anything. And so I look in the chat, so I'm gonna leave. I was in the chat. I was gonna say some stuff, and what I noticed is that my stuff wasn't showing up for people. So you talking about me, but I can't comment in your chat to tell you. I wanted you to ask Jay Morrison 3 questions. The first question I wanted to ask, you don't know how to interview or something. We saw this with Roland as well. Look, it wasn't about whether Dominican Jay was the tag and all that. We needed you to ask him, are you Dominican? God, how stupid you gotta be to not know how to ask that. Are you Dominican? Now that doesn't make you not an ally, but it explains a lot. Did Boyce ask that?
No. He just said he said the hashtag. That's all he said. And then he said I be on the beach sometimes in Dominican. That's all. That was it.
Because you're not that smart, dude. I don't know if y'all realize. I be trying not to say this because the Boyce is not sharp like that. Are you Dominican? That's all we needed to know. Because the guy didn't answer. The second thing is, let's get to it. You needed to ask him, please explain your bankruptcy. Please explain your personal bankruptcy. For those people that were saying, oh, college don't matter, or having a bankruptcy don't matter because Trump had one. No, a personal bankruptcy for low-level debt is basically showing you that this dude can't manage your money. At least. Golly. Or let me say this about people who say, well, you don't need to go to college. Look, tell your kids not to go to college. That's the first thing I want you to do. Walk in the room and tell your kids, y'all not going to college. Now, let me tell y'all the second thing. When we talk about making sweet potato pie, when we talk about the colors on shoelaces, when we talking even about, like, general, like, brick and mortar and plumbing, I'm with you. But when we talking about economics, how money moves in countries, how money moves between generations, I don't know how you don't want to listen to Sandy Garrity, who went to MIT. I don't know how you don't understand. Part of the reason these people, these dodo birds, said what they said about a flag is and they said what they said about a flag and UN, and they talk about standing. Because they're actually talking, whether they know it or not, because they don't know enough, because they didn't go to law school, they talking about more so when you talk about bringing a legal claim in court. That's when you go to the courts and they got to decide whether your case is moved or right, meaning late, or too soon, when they got to decide whether you got standing. When you go to the legislators, the ball game changed. The ball game changed. That's how we going, because that's the way you gotta go. You gotta create the energy with the legislators, with the people you voted in the office that you're doing that. We already have a constitution. We already have a flag. I have no idea what any of those people were talking about. And I believe a large reason that I don't have an idea is because they didn't take civics. They don't have advanced history lessons. They don't know enough to be talking. Y'all can keep following what you want to, but I want a person that actually has high-level economics leading the discussion. I want them talking about reparations. I just was texting with Sandy Garrity last night about things that we need to add to HR 40, because I believe that we need to ask for a good faith sum. Understand what Tone is talking about. This is something I ain't never heard nobody else say, but maybe you want to, Jay Morrison and me are the same. Okay. I want that execution for the government to fund at least 1% of $10 trillion. I believe that's $100 billion. My math may be wrong, but you can check it. But I would prefer 10%, $1 trillion. That's good faith. That shows me that the bill is real. I don't know what these people talking about. They can't even get down that the only people that should receive this are ADOS people. They want everybody in the world that came to America at one time to get reparations from our funds. But they get to keep their inheritance in other countries. Again, what I want to say to y'all today is that what I'm seeing with this recurrent thematic, and I'll leave it here, is that people don't want to get honest, because after hip-hop and everything else, we believe that Puffy was a businessman. We don't want to hear that Revolt TV is family. We believe that JD knows about business. We don't want to hear that he's just going to face man for company. But I'm just telling you right now that when you look at the documents, I would have preferred that I looked at Jay Morrison's documents and they were sound. But that's not what I found. I found a key man clause. Let me explain to y'all what a key man clause legally. When I get deals with Freeway Rick for the documentary and for the film, and we were just working through things, I did a deal with Mark Walper as an example, who actually put out Roots from History Channel. Go check my name. In the deal, I put a key man clause, because if you sell Walper Productions, I don't want to be stuck here without you. I'm doing a deal with you. I want you here. If you're not here, let's get out of this deal. What Jay Morrison put in his agreement is a reverse key man clause, which is him taking your money and then saying to you that if I leave, you lose your money. That don't even make sense to give him your money. I'm just telling you, like, God, it's just... Now, the other thing is Yvette pointed to something. I want to make sure everybody understands the game that he just played. Yvette, didn't you talk about arbitration clause?
Well, yeah, I said you got a mandatory arbitration. Right. Yeah.
Let me tell y'all black folks what that is. Slick ball. To go to arbitration, you're going to have to put up about 40,000, 30 or 40,000. Maybe even more than that throughout the whole process. He knows y'all don't have that. And he knows it's only a $500 investment. See, on a regular, without that clause, maybe you can go to small claims. Without that clause, you can bring it to court. If you can figure out the file in regular court. But see, with that clause, you got to go. It basically precludes you from actually litigating. Yeah. Because it's a $500 and he gets half the check, then y'all wait and y'all go to arbitration. I'm saying to you, it's basically saying I don't want you to sue. I need everybody to understand that these people are not even, they're not, I don't know what they made of, I don't know what they talking about. Y'all keep following them and acting like, I don't even understand why they had a discussion about reparations, because they didn't talk about reparations. I didn't watch the whole thing, but from what I saw, it was a lot of do for self, we can do it and we need to own our own and nothing that makes any sense. And I'm just coming to you, I'm gonna let it go, and I just feel like in a lot of ways, I don't know what Boyce is talking about, I don't know what Jay Morrison is talking about, and at the end of the day, I'm telling you like this, I don't think they know what they're talking about. All right.
Appreciate it as always, Tone. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they know what they're talking about either. I just think they feel like they need to say something, and so if they feel like they need to say something, that's what they're gonna say. I don't think they know exactly what they're talking about or how they're gonna talk or whatever the case. I don't feel like they know any of that. So I appreciate it, Tone. Thank you as always for calling in. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know what everybody's doing, and I don't know why I keep having to have this conversation. Everybody says, "Well, Yvette, why do you keep don't pay no attention?" No, because y'all keep, and I'm not talking about just people in the chat. Like the community keeps like paying attention, and so like, what do you do if everybody's paying attention and talking about something? You have to talk about it. You have to deal with it. I would appreciate if the community would make it to where my ADOS community would make it to where I don't have to talk about this. I would appreciate it if Boyce would not be so, so petulant and so childish and so that he has to bring me up and whatever he did. I tell you what the problem is. The problem is Yvette. Boyce, go somewhere and hush. Go somewhere and find your life, child. Ain't it enough? Why are you chasing me around the internet? Go find yourself. I ain't mentioned you in so long. Does it bother you that I don't mention you? I don't mention you because I think you're worthless. I'm going to my next call. I'm going to 765. 765, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
What's up, Yvette? This is Jermaine calling from Dallas, the barbershop.
What's going on at the barbershop?
Oh, well, shoot. A whole lot, but I don't even want to talk about that today. Now, as far as Jay Morrison, now I'm no economist and I'm no expert on finances. I'm not gonna sit here and say that man is a con artist, but what he's doing sounds very con artish. Like I don't know anybody that gets sued for $200,000 for stealing money from somebody, then file for bankruptcy to get rid of it. I don't even, if this man is willing to dick over a friend, how are black folks investing in this guy? If a Boyce Watkins to tell us that, oh, well, we need to start our own and we need to build our own and we need to do this, how are we going to build our own if y'all stealing the money from us?
Yeah, they're gonna build it for us though. Just get them the money. They're gonna build whatever we need. Just get them the money. You got to give them the money first. That's what they want you to do. Give them the money, and they're gonna give you some flashcards, some investments, and apartments where you're not gonna get the payoff, but they building. Yeah, but don't do no politics.
Just like what Jay Morrison talking about. I already see what he's trying to do. He's trying to do his own little conference because he's seen P. Diddy throw a conference, and he's seen them $350 and $500 tickets. So now he wants to try to throw his own conference so he can make a quick million or so dollars off of it, so he can make himself rich. I'm not falling for that. I'm not giving you a dime of my money, and I'm not about to pay attention to any conference that man's trying to throw. And I hope y'all don't show up to that fool conference either.
Well, you know what? I think that's why he might have been at the Revolt conference too. He said he was there all them days observing. That's part of the reason why. See, what happens is, and the part of the reason we set the price point so low for our conference, that's where we set it. We ain't trying to walk away with cash. That's not what this conference is for. It's not what our conference is for. But like, I think some people realize the conference game and the conference con, right? So I can charge $100 or $200 or whatever. Like I heard that Revolt conference was expensive, so I can charge all this money, and like I it's a really big cash grab if you charge like a lot of money for it. Like if you charging and you don't have any expenses, they charging big money. Ain't nobody. So I think that's one of the games. That's one of the cons. But I don't understand, fam. Let me just say this. I don't understand how Jay Morrison has time to run an investment fund when you doing doggone You doing galas. He got the gala. He got the Black Wall Street gala, or whatever it is. The Tulsa, I don't know, it's some kind of gala. You're doing the gala. You say you're doing grassroots. So you're doing corner classes. You say you're doing the investment fund. You say you. I don't know how he got time for all this stuff. You got any idea, fam?
What he needs to do is get them people their $9.4 million back. That's what he needs to do. Get them people their money back if he hadn't lost it already. And then, one more thing before I get off of here, and I want everybody to hear this, everybody in the chat. I am so sick and tired of people like Boyce Watkins, scapegoating black folks, talking about how we don't support nobody, and how we willing to buy chicken sandwiches and things like that. First of all, we bought a chicken sandwich. Boyce Watkins, how about this? If you want support, why don't you go in your neighborhood and sell chicken sandwiches? I guarantee you get a whole lot of support for it. Because I can't even count on I can't even count on my fingers and toes how many damn chicken dinners I done bought in this barbershop from different black folks that have walked in there selling chicken sandwiches and chicken dinners.
Let me just. You're right. We do. And let me just say this too, fam. If you want to support black business, you should do what I do. The t-shirts that I sell come from a black business owner here, right? I go pick up the t-shirts, pack them up, and send them out. Now, that's more work than going to somewhere like Teespring or whatever, but that's the cost of like supporting the black business. You gotta do it that way. They're not Teespring. You sell your Reparations shirt from Teespring. That's a white company. If you really want to support black business with your product, with your little t-shirts, why didn't you just you in Chicago, boys? Why didn't you find a black t-shirt company there and then hire somebody or find, to pay them or whatever to package, if you ain't got time, to package up your t-shirts and send them out. If you want to support black business, that's an easy way to do it instead of going to Teespring. But you really ain't trying to do that. This is a black business con. Heck, I talk about the need for government, but I support black business more than you do, boys.
and actually, I know a person in Chicago that's a vendor for t-shirts. I know someone. Met him at the Barber and Beauty Show in Chicago. Name is Blackology. He got his own warehouse and everything.
I'm sure he could use the business.
Boyce Watkins' name.
I'm sure he could use the business.
But like, I'm just tired of him saying that. Like, you know what I mean? You want to talk about you want to talk about how black folks want to go out and buy food from a fast food restaurant like Popeyes? Where else are we gonna get a meal that feeds the whole entire family for $20?
No, yeah.
And
they everywhere. Like Popeyes is everywhere in our community.
And it's pretty decent. Like the food actually tastes pretty decent to me. I know you said it's too salty.
It was just too salty for my heart, but it was tasty though, fam. Don't get me wrong. It was tasty. It was just too salty for my heart, but it was tasty. But go on, fam.
So, you know what I mean? But me, like, I gotta feed a family of 5, and I'm sorry, I can't go to my local person and buy, these plates cost $10 a plate, and we buy a lot of them. Between me and the 3 other barbers in the shop, there's somebody in there every day that we buy a plate from. So, to say that we don't, the thing is, the problem with people like Boyce Watkins and Jay Morrison and all these other people that get upset and say that black people don't support black businesses, no, you're just upset because black people don't make you rich.
Ooh. Ooh, you said a gem. He's not upset that he's upset that black people don't make him rich. Not that we don't support, because he wouldn't be, if black people didn't support black business, he would be out of business, wouldn't he? Like, what does that mean?
Exactly.
Oh, you want more money?
If we didn't support you, you wouldn't even have a platform right now.
No, you're right.
I hear this from barbers in the shop all the time, talking about how black people don't support black folks. I look at them in their face, I say, dude, 90% of your clientele is black.
Yeah,
how do black people support you?
Yeah.
You make $80,000, you make $60,000 a year off of black heads alone. How don't black people support you? Y'all are just upset because you don't become millionaires off of black money. And the thing is, that's because you don't understand the limitations of black folks.
Ooh.
Take your ass on across the river to the white folks then.
Woo-hoo! Take you some scissors, though. You can't use them clippers like that. You can use them around the edges, but you can't use them on top. Take you some scissors.
Well, let me go ahead and let you get back to your show, Yvette. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, fam. I appreciate it. That was a good call. Yeah, you just mad. You ain't mad that you can't make money from the black community. You just mad that you don't make as much money as you think you deserve. That was a good point, because y'all are everybody who talks about the black people don't support them are like being supported by black people. Like your whole platform was Your Black World until you just threw that away and just you ever notice that Boyce has a bunch of different websites, just throw in the garbage and try something new? That's so weird. Like he got 1,000 different domains and they all something different and he was supposed to. We're gonna build Your Black World into black media. And now nobody even, I remember people used to share when I was back there and used to do stuff for it, used to share links from Your Black World and stuff. Now it's just trash. Like how did you take something and you had a real good domain name, Your Black World, and you just left it to just try to make a bunch of money, and you're mad, like the caller said, that you're not making more money. Not my problem. Like the limitations of middle black families were 1,700. You have a life and a living off of black people should be more than enough for you. But everybody be out here trying to ball. I have 2 678, so I'm going to 6785. 6785. I'm coming to you. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, Yvette. This is Chandra calling from Atlanta. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing good. I'm a first-time caller, long-time listener.
Okay.
I love you.
Love you back.
So much. Thank you so much for doing this show today. Listen, you have every right, because I was looking in the chat, and they would say, oh, let's be two by now. We need to stay together. We don't need this. You have every right to defend yourself against that person. I don't even like to call his name because he get on my nerves so bad. Every time I look around, he's calling your name out. You have not been on that man's platform for I don't know how many years. That's how I first came across you. And I've been watching you ever since you left him. Then you and Irony started your thing, and then now you're doing your own thing, and then you and Antonio. You have every right to defend yourself, my sister, and I'm happy that you have your receipts, that you're calling himself out. And my husband said hi, he loves your show as well. He's the one that actually put me on to your show.
Tell him I said what's up.
I will let him know. And I want you and Antonio, you guys are doing a good job. And then another thing I want to say, anybody who listens to T.I. or Clifford Harris for anything politics, no. I will listen to my 15-year-old son about politics before I listen to T.I. about politics, because he listens to shows, because we make him listen to shows like yours and Antonio.
All right. Thank you, fam. I appreciate it. We got the kids up in here.
Exactly. I can't deal with these people. It is a shame that, it's our people that are trying to stop what you guys are doing. It's a shame.
Yeah.
It's just a shame. But I just wanted to say thank you so much, my sister.
You.
You keep going and keep doing you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that, fam. I appreciate that. And let me just say this. Let me just reiterate something she said. I don't bother Boyce. Like I haven't. He's been on me for ever since then. And I just said, listen, I got stuff to do. I don't have time to be bothered. I don't have time to be bothered with this. I'm going to stay focused on what I do. But this is just like, dude, you still lying? Like at a certain point, you have to deal with the lie that's being told, and the same lie that's being told for 2 years. At a certain point, you have to deal with it. I haven't dealt with that lie for 2 years. I've had those receipts for 2 years. I haven't dealt with that lie though. I've just let it go. Let it go. Tell your lie, I'm gonna do my work. Tell your lie, I'm gonna do my work. Okay, now I'm tired. And that's what we are. You lie a lot, and that's a problem. I have a problem with people who lie a lot. And I don't say stuff like people like, Yvette has beef with everybody. No, I would have put that out a long time ago if I really wanted to. I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I want to move on. I want to do my thing. You won't let me do my thing. Let me do this over here. Let me and Antonio work this over here. You don't have to. You don't have to behave like you behave. And every time you have a conversation, my name got to come out your mouth. Find something else to talk about. I know your fiance get tired of hearing about me. I'm going to 678. 678. What's going on? Oh, I didn't click it right. All right, now 678. What's on your mind?
Hello, hi, Yvette.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing
Thank
pretty
you
good.
so much for your show.
Thank you.
Now, do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. Now, I'm not the biggest intellectual, but since we are talking about Jay Morrison today, I'm not the type to. I don't mean to shame black people who are successful at all. And I know I don't mean to hate or anything, but I've seen this man around town. I live in Atlanta. And in particular, I work in a very rich area. And it's so embarrassing the way I see this man flashing, because I know the clientele has generations of generational wealth. I've served billionaires. And we really have to, the mentality of flashing money around as compared to people who are not flashing their money around is true in its real life. And I know that these people that I do business with, they're paying $30,000 for their 5-year-old's school tuition over at Westminster Private School, and he's dressed up in a fur. I've never seen someone dressed up in a fur in this particular area but this man. And it's laughable. It is so laughable. I just feel embarrassed as a fellow ADOS person, because I know they look at this man and think, you don't have the protection that I have. You can't challenge me the way that I can demolish you. So, if today's the day we're going to talk about Jay Morrison, I really just want to say that.
Affirm.
And, I have a particular question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
It is off topic, but it's definitely about ADOS life. And I ran into a situation in which I realized that someone who didn't speak English at all was hired. And I was trying to convey this message to fellow ADOS person that if our grammar was horrible, we couldn't even get hired. And they try to point to some people who don't speak as well English. They are more so deep into the ADOS different vernaculars, you can say.
Okay.
And they try to say, well, this guy, he talks bad too. But I'm trying to tell them, but no, he could never have that privilege. And we all know that ADOS is the bottom caste in the U.S., and along with other black people who are not ADOS, but black people in general. But I know for sure they didn't let the other black person who didn't speak well English continue with their job. So I was wondering if you have anything to say about how do you challenge. I don't even know what I'm saying.
I've been trying to challenge that I've been on this page and evolving on this page, like moving, and it's part of the problem. It's part of the reason that, we have such a hard time. Like, how do you put in a box somebody who doesn't really speak the language, and somebody who isn't the best at speaking the language? And for a lot of reasons, we don't get schools, we don't, our disadvantage comes from systemic disadvantage and oppression, intentional in this country. That's very different than somebody who came from somewhere else and who can't speak the language. How do you equate the two? And so the problem is we just can't really even have a conversation with our own people. They're so ready to not even understand what ADOS life is, even though they live it. That's just the hardest part. You live this life, but you don't want to own this life, and you want to just go push back against me. We don't have a cohesive culture, and we don't have a cohesive code, and that's what we're trying to create. And I think the only thing that you can do is you have to try to plant seeds, and have the conversation bit by bit in a way that not necessarily pisses the person off at you, but have it bit by bit and just do what you can. If you try to do too much, what happens is you're going to get frustrated and angry, right? And you don't want to do that either, because that's not healthy. So you have to just try to kind of plant that seed. And the kind of way you do it, to me, is not just say stuff. Sometimes you just ask questions. Well, we're here. Shouldn't they be able, or are we the same? Just ask questions. And sometimes that still won't work. Hell, most of the time it won't work. But you still have a good chunk of people who will come back and be like, I thought about what you said. And it really hit me. But it won't be the majority, at least in my experience. So.
Yes. Well, I thank you very much, and you have a wonderful night. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you
for everything you do. Thank you.
No, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I am going now to 832. 832, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi,
Hey.
my name is Coco. Hey, Yvette.
Hey,
How
Coco.
are you? Hey, I'm not going to be on long. I am calling from Houston, Texas. I heard a few other Texans on the line. That was great. And as someone else mentioned, I am a long-time listener, a first-time caller. And I just wanted to call in. Now, I listen with my kids. I have a 9-year-old daughter and a 17-year-old son. And they always try to encourage me to call in after we listen to the show.
Okay.
But I just want to thank you for everything you do
thank you.
for our community. And I want to also thank you for encouraging the Breaking Brown fam to watch their language.
I try, but they still be cussing. They still be cussing.
So I appreciate that. Now, usually I send them, I dismiss them after, when we get to the phone calls.
Okay.
I know sometimes our fam gets, a little heated and excited, and they use colorful language, so I usually just dismiss them. But I do want to thank you for the civics lessons and the history lessons and the government and political science that you are helping me to teach to them by them just tuning in to your show. So I really appreciate that. And before I go, I just wanted to say, it's very ironic that I'm calling for the first time tonight, and my introduction to you was, my introduction to your show was a video that was on a social media timeline about you and Boyce, and you were basically blowing his hair back about how he was misleading the black community about the whole flashcard thing that he was selling. Mm-hmm. And so that video, like, so many videos when you watch on YouTube, you end up going down a rabbit hole, and that video led me to a video I ended up watching of him interviewing you about your video of Minister Farrakhan that had gone viral.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of that video, he said something like, "The day I'm not supporting Yvette Carnell is the day I'm in my grave." And do you remember that? Yvette?
Yeah. He supported the whole thing.
That video, I wonder if it's still up, because I'm like, I wonder if he remembers saying that, or how does he explain his current foolishness towards you after making a statement like that? Because I don't understand.
Well,
the day he wasn't going to support you would be the day he was in his grave, but he's not supportive of you at all now. So he needs to maybe revisit that.
But let me just say one other thing, fam. Let me just say one other thing. Let me just say one other thing. He keeps going on about. He keeps going on about I had to go apologize to Farrakhan about that video, and it was awful, and she called him all these names. He says that as if I put the video up on my channel. See, if I put the video up on my channel and we work together and I refuse to take it down, then you have to go apologize or do whatever, because he can't take the video down. It's on my channel. And so you work with me. So you have to manage those relationships. Boys, I don't know if you're slow or whatever. The video was put up on your channel. At any moment, you could have took it down. The minute it went up, you could have took it down. You could have made it private. You didn't do that because everybody knows you wanted the money. Like, I don't even know.
Exactly.
That's what those messages he sent me were about. Oh my God, the video's going viral. It took it down at any moment. You can't apologize. You can't say that when you could have took it down at any moment. You could have deleted it. Wouldn't have been available no more. Within minutes, you could have done that.
Yep.
Makes no sense.
Yep. But no, it's making money, like you said. So it's like you're contradicting yourself. And at this point, I just encourage. So I homeschool my kids, and I remember a couple of years back. Like I said, I was just recently introduced to you from that video, maybe about a year ago. Is when I started watching. Watching and listening to your show. But there were before I even listened to the video of you blowing his hair back about how he's misleading our community with these flashcards, I knew there was something off about him years ago when some fellow black homeschoolers were saying how they signed up their kids for some of his business school classes. And I'm like, well, all of that information is available for free on the
Everywhere.
internet.
Everywhere,
You can find it anywhere. But I remember one of the moms saying, yeah, but then I have to get it together, and so it's worth my time. And I'm like, well, okay, that's how you look at it. But so I'm just saying, even before I knew, I listened to your breaking it down about him. I knew there was something that just wasn't quite right about how he marketed to our community and the way his videos just never sat well with me. So, and finding that out, now I know why. But anyway, I am not going to keep you, though. I just want children and call in finally. They always say, Mom, you going to call in? So I want to call in tonight, and thanks again for everything you do for our community. And I hope you take care of yourself.
I will.
And be strong and definitely have support.
I will. Thank you, fam. I appreciate you calling in and tell the kids I say what's up too. I think part of it, if you remember that Charles Wu video, where the Asian guy talked about using Boyce as a tool, and the tools that they would use, like, if you give it to the white man, and it was like the white oppressor model to get black people to give their dollars away. Like that Charles Wu video really told you, like, that's why you didn't feel right, because it wasn't really coming from Boyce, it was coming from Charles Wu, and he was telling you, like, this is our character that we use Boyce. He's a little character, he's a little puppet, and he talks about how, why you give all your money to the white man, and we gotta get out of here, and they have a whole like model about how to extract black dollars by using this white oppressor overseer model. Like, your dollars to Boyce are going to be your empowerment, and he talked a lot about how that was going to work. And so I think that whole video really kind of explains like the Boyce Watkins experience. And I'm not there anymore. 908, where are you calling from, and what's on your mind?
How are you, Yvette?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm listening to your show. This is the first time that I'm listening to it.
Okay.
Live. I've listened to a few of your shows before. I'm a YouTuber. I love YouTube, and I happened to come across your video, and it looked very interesting. And I see you got your hands full.
Always.
Trying to be the glue that we all need. And it's not an easy thing. I'm going to be 68 years old tomorrow, God willing.
Happy birthday.
And thank you. And I'm interested in what young people are doing. And y'all have it much worse than I did. Much worse. Because they're throwing every kind of media at y'all that they can to keep your minds occupied. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, man.
And it's working. Y'all have much bigger fish to fry.
We do.
Much bigger fish to fry. What's going on in this world now? A lot of negativity. You may not see it, but it's there. We are a race of black people here in America, and there are people coming from all over the world that are disrespecting us. When I say they are disrespected, it gives me a lump in my throat just to even say it. They are disrespecting us. And we're not doing anything about it. We're trying to be nice, thinking that it's going to help. But that's not what it takes, because what's going on in this world, this fight is mental. This is a mental fight. And we're losing. I just moved into a senior citizen building, and I've never been around a bunch of old people. Like I said, I'm going to be 68 tomorrow. But I'm here, and I'm looking. People are dying right and left, old and young, because of the stuff that's being thrown at us. And that's what we need to be focusing on. We need to make some moves. They have a census coming out next year, 2020 census, and they want each of us to sign off on African American. They're going to connect us to Africa, to disconnect us to people that we are. We're North Americans. A lot of us were here already. We're natives. And I'm just bringing that point out because we need to check that off.
Thank you, ma'am. I do appreciate you calling in, and happy birthday. I'm gonna let you go. Oh, we were doing so good. I'm going to 617-617. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Welcome back, Yvette.
What's going on? What's up? What's going on?
Hey, man, it's been a hell of a week, man. I'm telling you, man. The revolt, just to see all of that nonsense. Nobody with any kind of anchoring, and just how it culminated with Boyce and Jay getting together. But what I was also doing while watching that, I was, just going back to, people in the 60s talking when they were talking about organizing. I was reminded of words Kwame Ture was talking during African Liberation Day. And what he was saying is like, we have this organization over here, we have this organization over here, and this one has criticisms with me, I have criticisms with them. But that's fine because I'm actually organizing. And what he was saying is that if you are not organizing, or if you can't point me to someone that you're organized with, you don't get to talk to me. And I feel like that's what's happening with both Boyce and with Jay. Antonio Moore, Yvette Carnell sent people to Capitol Hill. Boyce Watkins and Jay Morrison are sending people to their website.
Oh.
We're not the same. You see what I'm saying, Yvette?
Oh, yes, man, yes.
Rallying people and getting them hyped up to buy your product or to invest in a fund, that is not political organization. Because, like the talks and the conferences, it always points back to them selling their product. I'll give you a perfect example with Jay Morrison inserting himself in the reparations conversation. Granted, it's a lane that ADOS opened that he's trying to walk through. He comes through, babbling, talking about the World Court and, Baba Joe Epps, told me this, that, and the third. Now, here's something very interesting. Joseph Epps, he's down with NCOBRA, but, Jay called him the president. Number one, there's no president. There's a female co-chair and a male co-chair. So you're not even understanding the structure of the organization you're saying undergirds what you're talking about. And number two, Joseph Epps is not either one of those co-chairs. So what does that say about Jay Morrison? You are not even connected to the work that you say you're about. You're just name dropping. Like, oh, but Baba Joe told me this and so told me that. You're not even anchored. It's like we ran into NCOBRA. We ran into NARC, in DC. I didn't run into anybody saying I'm here by way of Jay Morrison Academy. Didn't hear anybody saying, oh my Lord, the flashcards Boyce sent me that go to DC and argue for reparations. I didn't see none of that. So them jumping in here to try to insert themselves, it makes no sense. And so when Jay starts talking about, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to go to the World Court, do this and do that. When you look at how long he's been saying this, he's been saying this since like around 2015. Like I'm a new African, we need the vote day. If that was his lane, like you said, he's trying to be all over the place when he should be focusing on his work. But even if we assume that this is his work, you go a little bit further down the line, he has a website, talking about, United Africans in America, and he says, this is solution, and he says, oh, here's my book, and the book is free. Now, we know with folks like Jay and Boyce, nothing is free. You go through the book, he talks about this is slavery, this is Jim Crow, these are the codes, and the name of the book is The Solution. Now, when you go further down in the book, where he says, here is the solution, guess what shows up? The Tulsa Real Estate Fund Petition as gentrification. This guy is playing games.
He said it was a bestseller, Reggie. He said that book was a bestseller.
Go ahead, Yvette.
No, I said he said that book was a bestseller.
Yeah, I mean it's free, but he gets you riled up and say, I didn't see any inaccuracies in terms of the history, but when he comes to the solution, he diverts to put money into this fund, and he's saying, we just acquired this 98 unit building in Georgia, and again, the problem that I have with it. If you're going to talk about collective politics or even collective group economics, the optimum situation would be the 98 residents within that building you bought for a capitalist venture would be owned by those 98 families. But that gets rid of your profit. Can't have that. Give me my 500 apiece so I can give you the 8% preferred return. I ain't seen that yet, but so granted, he doesn't take a salary, but again, if you read through his prospectus, there's other ways for him to get money, and as you pointed out, there's reimbursements for the time they already put in. They're still getting a check, man. These folks are playing.
But here's the thing too, Reggie. Here's the thing too, Reggie. Before you go and wrap up for me. Like, before you do that, like he said, the other thing, he was like, this happened, he said, this happened in the 60s. They was at the Supreme Court. And then Cobra was founded in like 87, wasn't it? So when you talk about not knowing the history, he really has just jumped in and just like, he don't know, I ain't read nothing, but somebody told me something.
Yeah, he's just talking, and again, like you said, they need a civics lesson. I mean, they're acting like we're going to go to the UN, to the World Court, as if, number one, the United States does not have veto power, so the World Court or the entire planet could come together and vote, give them reparations, and the U.S. says no. They have done that before.
Didn't Malcolm X try that?
They walked away from Human Rights Council. They're like, we're not going to be a part of this.
Yep, all the time.
It's nonsense. I mean, and again, if you have not organized to the point where you have centered reparations in the way that we have, or contributed to that push, you can't talk to me. These guys got to sit down. That's all I got, Yvette.
All right. As always, Reggie, I appreciate you bringing that fire. But he's right. Like, what you see, see, this is people who don't know politics. We got to go to the UN. The UN ain't got no power over this United States of America. We do that all the time. We walk away from whatever. We decide we're going to abstain or we're going to vote against it. But we have made it very clear as the most powerful nation on the planet that we don't have to do what anybody say do. And ain't no United Nations going to push America anywhere, anyhow. So you go to the United Nations all day long. And ain't nothing going to happen. Ain't nothing going to happen. You can do whatever you want to do. Fly, fly, Teddy, fly, fly. It's just not going to happen. I'm just. America being there with all kinds of veto power. What you think? What do you think? Why don't you research the history of the UN and like all that? You can research a lot of different topics about what we do at the United Nations and who we couple up with. How come you don't do the work? You just go to talk to Baba Joe or whatever and just come back and do an Instagram video. Why does everybody need to do that? Anyway, I'm going to, it will probably be the last call of the night. I have two 404s. So I am going to 4042. I'm coming to you. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Yvette. My name is Renee. I'm calling from Atlanta.
What's going on?
Not much. I wanted to make 2 points. So Jay and both boys, to me, are the classic pimpin' pastor. And because when I did go to church, I don't anymore. I noticed a lot of these same characteristics, particularly around pastors who run mega churches. They sell a big game, they sell image, and I think it's important for us to remember as black people, especially working class black people, that a lot of the things that we think people have because of what they present visually are not accurate.
Okay.
If Boyce and Jay were stable and they had access to real capital, they wouldn't be trying to fleece black people and get over.
I agree.
They just wouldn't be. It wouldn't make sense. Also, I question their stability. They may be, quote-unquote, more stable than, let's say, the average working person, but in reality, how much sustainable, real access to income and not income, but access to capital and wealth do they really have?
Yeah, I agree. They have access to our pockets. That's the only access they have. And in order to keep maintaining their life, you have to keep access to those pockets. You have to do that. And I see the thing is, if Jay Morrison just stayed in his square, right? If he just stayed in terms of investor, then that would mean he would have to show a profit. Like what he's doing now is like, I'm going to be everywhere doing all things. And so, I'm not just one thing, so you can't hold me accountable to just this one thing. I'm everything. And Boyce is like, well, if you're going to do this, you can do it, but you got to come to my thing, or you got to buy my classes, or you got to do, no. And it doesn't work without that. Go ahead, fam.
And can I say one more thing? I think it's important, just like how a lot of us are over-consumed with celebrities, we really have to get real. What are these people's real lives? Because a lot of times, if we had the opportunity to see what was going on with them realistically, and we had a chance to look at their checkbooks, I'm sure a lot of us would be very surprised that it is not the life that they perpetrate. And social media allows you to build a certain image. And so I think it's important for us to remember this is all imagery. I have been around wealthy white folks. They don't do all that.
No, none of them wear a fur coat.
And it's perfectly okay to tap out and stop comparing your life to what Jay Morrison is perpetrating. Because I guarantee you it's a fraud, just like he is.
Well, and people always, I don't have a problem. Didn't both of them file bankruptcy? I'm not people like, Yvette's talking about people that file bankruptcy. Well, you're talking about money management. Like, understand that if the reason I bring up the bankruptcies is one guy raised a bunch of money from a bunch of ADOS people, mostly ADOS black people, and we have a middle family worth $1,700. That's a big chunk of money. And Boyce wants to tell you he gonna teach you how to be a millionaire. If both these people are talking about counting the money, they both file bankruptcy. What are we doing investing in these people then? In terms of money, they're not telling
count.
You.
They can't count clearly.
Clearly, fam, clearly. I'm going to let you have the last word, fam. You got anything else you need to say?
No, I just want to say it's just important for us to remember that these people are selling us a facade. And if we really had if we got an honest look at their lives, it probably wouldn't be too much different than ours. And tap out. Stop watching these people. They're wasting your time.
I agree, fam. I agree. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And that's what we don't do. We don't tap out. We just keep saying, well, everybody got a point of view. Well, Boyce got a point of view, and I don't like some of the things he say. But sometimes he say stuff I like. So I'm just gonna say that, like, everybody got an opinion. No, it's an uninformed opinion, and he just wants to be a part of the conversation. Part of the reason Boyce is so upset is because he really wants to be a part of this conversation. But you're opposed to reparations, and you can't count, and you just been fleecing black people for a long time. Like, we could have been cohesive. I tried to do it with you, and you went left. You went to chase all the money and chase the money in a way that's not good for ADOS people, so we could work together. Like, I tried to do. People like, y'all should put it. I tried, didn't work because of who you are. So I want everybody to just, really. I'm ending the show. I want everybody to really kind of think about this, and I want you to think about why we keep having to have this conversation. Why? Why do we keep having to see? Part of the problem, we got to keep going back to square one all the time. We always got to keep going back to square one. So I can't have the whole community say, you know what, boys, this is stupid. Why do you keep bringing Yvette up? She's not bringing you up. No, everybody don't come down on him like that. Everybody don't come down on him like, if you text Tariq, like, why you got to bring that up in the video? Why you can't just say, I invited him and it didn't happen? Why you got to say, well, I had a problem with this? Why you got to always cause controversy? Like, you the one causing the controversry. The one thing, Jay Morrison at least said in the video, I don't have beef with Tariq. You were trying to create beef, though, Boyce. I don't think everybody sees that Boyce was trying to create a beef. He was like, well, I didn't like what you said. You're trying to create a beef. That's who you are. You're a pesky little thing that just goes around and does stuff for clicks because it's good for you, but it's not good for the community. And it's like, you're always off code. Always. There's no work to be done with you, and you hold grudges, and you nurse your hurts and your pains. It's just real weird. So I think we have to think about why we can't, when we realize that somebody is before us, right? Everybody realizes it at different stages. We realize it, we've talked about it, why can't we ever get somebody out of here? Like, why can't we ever say, like, you can't do this. You can't be here because you have been in this space and you've been very childlike in this space, and you've been ranting in this space, and you hold a lot of grudges in this space, and you don't move for yourself. You kind of just move in a way to get yourself attention in this space. You have to kind of hold a standard, especially against people who just stay stuck in their personal grudges. Boy's been stuck for a long time. But anyway, fam, think about that. I appreciate everybody who called in tonight, and it's good to be back, and we will talk soon. I might do something tomorrow. It won't be a full show, but I got some ideas. Well, no, it wouldn't be tomorrow. It'll be sometime, like, it will be sometime the weekend, because I got something. So, but I think I'm going to do a quick hit. I might take a few calls, either sometime in the weekend, like Saturday or Sunday. We'll see. Probably will be more likely Saturday. But thank you, fam. I appreciate everybody for showing up. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And we will talk again soon. you.